We got a package, guys. But what could be inside?
Come on.
Believe it or not, I do actually know what's inside because I fucking ordered it. But you guys don't. So let's open this. And I'll show you. I think you guys will be excited about this one. You guys still probably don't know what it is. Holy crap, that is so much bigger than I expected. And that is what she said. Check it out. So this is the Smartry. I don't really know the correct pronunciation of this brand, but it got some pretty good reviews. It actually looks like a pretty solid little thing here. It wasn't very expensive, so I'm surprised at how it feels. I don't know if I like this, but so basically what this is for is you stick it to the window in your car, and it's going to help me do car reviews. Because now that I have a smaller camera that doesn't have so much of a flat bottom and the whole thing's off center, just poorly designed camera in general, I can't just sit it down on somewhere and expect it to stay. So that's why I got this thing. Anyways, let's go test it out. Alright, so story time, and let me know what you think about this angle. It's pretty much the best that I could figure out with this mount. I gotta play with it some more. There's a couple kinks that I kind of want to iron out before I go crazy with it. But hey, it was really cheap, so if I need to get something else, then I always can. But on a more serious note, I have some really, really bad news. I mean, technically it's not really bad news for you. It's kind of bad news for me. But we are going to spin this to a positive once I tell you what's going on. Basically, I think it's time for a story. And this story occurred yesterday. Maybe 2 days ago, depending on when I upload this video. So, firstly, I want to preface this by saying, don't be stupid. And I choose to do these things in haggard ways with my vehicles because I am stupid, and you should not follow my lead. Anyways, basically what happened was I've owned Volkswagens in the past, specifically Mark IVs. I have my Jetta. All my buddies have had a Mark IV Volkswagen at one point in time. So I know the cars very well, especially the stick shift ones. This car has a 5-speed. My 2001 Jetta had a 5-speed. I've taken everything apart. I've taken the dash apart. I've taken everything out and put it all back in and reassembled everything interior-wise, especially on the Jetta, because that thing was just fucking falling apart in the interior. Anywho, I knew that if I took my shifter off, broke the coupling, like the little metal bracket that holds the actual shift knob to the tower, which I was going to do anyways, because this shift knob right here, I can actually pull it off for you guys. This shift knob right here is actually from my Jetta, and it's in 10 times better shape It may even be aftermarket. It's in 10 times better shape than the one that came on this car. So when I got the car, I destroyed the retainer clip anyways in order to put this one from my Jetta on my GTI. So that's not the problem. And I knew that was, I knew that I was going to break that anyways. So, and by break, I mean break, because there's a proper way of doing it, but everybody does it that way anyways, and then just zip ties it back up with the clips. Either way, let's get into the actual bread and butter of the story. So I decided yesterday that I was going to chop part of my column off, drill out the center of my shift knob where there's a notch in the plastic piece, and then break the clips off of the bottom of this in order to fit it over my shifter assembly, creating some sort of a short shifter type thing. I basically only shaved off about 1 inch, so the throw didn't change very much, but the actual shifter itself sat a lot lower and it felt better in my hand. Wow, that's what she says. They're just coming in quantity today. Anyways, after this, I taped up all my shit in underneath. I know, super haggard again. Don't do what I do. Do as I say, not as I do. I taped up all the shit, got it to where basically I wanted it. Normally when I've done shifters in the past, because Volkswagens are really dumb and don't actually include a threaded shift tower, I've done things like this in the past where I tape it up and it's totally worked. On my Jetta it worked forever. On this car, when I first swapped this over, I had it all taped up, no retainer clip or everything, and it was mint. It did not budge, it did not move, it did not do anything wrong. But yeah. However, it did take a couple tries to get it to that point. So I taped it, drove around for a bit, figured out, okay, the tape isn't really holding here, so on and so forth. Changed it out, and eventually I got it right. Unfortunately, when I did that on this scenario, taped it up, again, there was a little bit of play in the shifter in certain situations, and one of those situations happened to be my first to second shift. Now, why is this a bad thing? Unfortunately, last night, when I was ripping my car around, testing out the shifter, so on and so forth, one of my first to second shifts at high RPMs did not seat correctly in the second gear position. This is because when I went to shift and my shift knob wasn't fully in position and felt weird to me, it did not seat properly in second gear. So this thing popped up a tiny bit, and that caused me to lose the feeling for my second gear. Now, at high RPMs, this is a problem with these, I think they're O2J transmissions, because when you throw it in second, because first and second are on the same slider, it grinds the piss out of your first gear. And I think I fucked it. So, after that, I was going through the gears, I was like, holy shit, I just grinded the shit out of my gear, fuck me, but it's alright because I'm going through all my gears. I came to a stoplight and it locked me out of absolutely fucking everything. I didn't have any of my gears, couldn't throw it into reverse, couldn't do any of the tricks that people tell you to do when you want to get it back into fucking gear, like second first, reverse, then first, so on and so forth. Turn the car off, try and put it in first. I had nothing. I could not get it in gear whatsoever. So, I called up one of my buddies who has a lot more experience with this type of thing, mechanically, and he was on his way. As he was on his way and I was playing around with it, I got access to all my gates other than first gear. So I could go through second. No matter what I did, I was hitting a wall in first gear. So my buddy shows up and he basically drives the car, tries to get the thing into first gear. You could slightly push it into first gear with the clutch out and it would kind of engage. Like just holding it into like the first gear position. It didn't fully slot in, but you could kind of feel it wanting to go in, which is weird because after a lot of research, it's a lot of people were saying that it actually, like, obviously it's the gear itself, but after taking the transmission apart, they don't see anywhere in the synchros at all, which is weird because it feels like it's a synchro type thing when I'm hitting the gear shifter. Either way, it's still the transmission needs to be disassembled if it is the transmission. So my friend basically showed up, said, yeah, you're fucked, goodbye first gear, and told me to go online and do some research just to make for sure that that's what it was. So I went online and I narrowed it down to one of two things. One, apparently O2J transmissions are very spotty when it comes to the linkage. The linkage on the inside of the engine bay looks fine to me. Everything is hooked up. Like I said, it goes into every gear but first gear, and everything looks okay up there. But what I was reading on the forums is if you give a little bit of spiritual driving, I guess you could say, it can throw part of your cable off just by like millimeters, and it can fudge up your shifting. Now, that would require a literally 5-minute shifter cable linkage realign. Or, number two, I need a new transmission. So, cross your fucking fingers for me, but it feels like transmission to me. And it's really fucking unfortunate because I really, really like this thing. But I'm going to spin this to a positive. One, because I have my Jetta still, and it has a transmission that's compatible with this engine. Unfortunately, the transmission that's in that is a much shorter geared transmission. Technically, that transmission has an overdrive 5th gear, whereas this one doesn't, so it would technically be an upgrade, and your final drive are basically the same between this transmission and that transmission, but gears 1 to 4 are a lot taller in this car, which means I would probably suffer a little bit of speed or like acceleration times just because of the way that it's geared. But it's a free transmission, so yeah, I have a transmission for it. It's just really the labor that's going to be a pain in the fucking dick. But, again, positive light, that means that I can make videos for you guys. And this actually marks the start, technically, of me doing some serious work to this car, other than paint work. Paint work, unfortunately, is going to have to wait for now, but we'll address that later. I have another surprise for you guys, and I'm not sure what it is yet. All I can tell you is we're going to see it on Saturday, and that's all you're going to get. But if this goes through, then we're going to have a lot of content being pumped through this channel about this car. I'm talking transmission, which I'm going to do anyways regardless. I'm talking clutch, because why pull the transmission off and not upgrade my clutch? And I'm talking maybe turbo upgrade, maybe some other stuff. We'll see. But that's basically what happened. I cannot get it into first gear. If you guys have any other suggestions, like if you are just a Volkswagen expert and you have any suggestions, definitely be sure to leave them in the comment section below. I've tried everything that can be. Like I said, I called somebody over who knows a lot about Volkswagens and cars in general, really. And he's worked on plenty of other cars. And he said he thinks it's exactly what I think it is, which is unfortunate. But, again, if you have any suggestions, I'll definitely try them out if I haven't already. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. But I'm going to try and turn this into positive light. And we're going to get some really good content out of it. So, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk for a minute. I'm really, really bad at telling stories, by the way, so hopefully that didn't turn out really confusing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely like the video. If you did, leave me a comment down below, like I said, and subscribe for more content. You better be looking forward to it. Alright, guys. Peace out. Come on!